What's going on, guys? It's No just checking in, and today I want to give you just a practical tip, a little bit of advice that I've learned over the years that I've been dealing with depression and anxiety on how to get through the weekend when you struggle with mood disorders. A good friend of mine, Counselor Douglas Block, touched on this in one of his videos, and I just want to bring it up again, and I want to talk about it more, and I basically just want to reiterate and add to what he said. And what I think a lot of people find when they are depressed, this certainly has been true for me, and if you'd like to know my story, by the way, it's always in the description below, but what I've always found is that sometimes, that made no sense, what I've found is that it's typically easier for me to get through the week than it is for me to get through the weekend when dealing with depression. When my depression is aggravated, or when I was in a chronic state for well over a year, and low grade for a couple years, I find that the idle time that comes with the weekend can be a lot more difficult to deal with. And so that's why, in my opinion, and I've said this before to people that don't understand depression or want to learn more about it, I tell them there are no days off when you're clinically depressed, when you suffer from an anxiety disorder. And the days off oftentimes are the most painful. And so I think one of the things that comes with having, and the weekend could be any day, by the way. If your weekend is a Wednesday, Friday, then those 2 days are your weekend. You know what I mean? Or it could be a traditional Saturday, Sunday that you're off. But the point is, on the weekends for me, and this is not so much true anymore, but it was in the past, I lacked structure that was there during the week. And a lot of times people don't see structure as this life-saving thing, but it really is. And I think the older I get, the more I reflect, and especially the more I go through, I can attest to this fact, and I can come to terms with the fact that that structure is very, very important and powerful for my mental state. It's really important for how I process, how I deal, how I cope, how I spend my time thinking, so to speak. When engaged, when I have places to go, even if you're in survival mode with your depression or your anxiety, it keeps you from overly focusing inward. That's really easy to do regardless of where you're at or what you're doing. But trust me, as you know, when you're doing nothing, you think about your shit way more than when you're doing something. So what I suggest, all but however many minutes later, when you come to your weekend, I suggest that you treat it like any other scheduled day. Have things planned and take that seriously. It sounds kind of corny, but if you're as bad off as I was, if you've suffered the way I have, like I know so many of you have, you'll be okay with needing that structure and just accepting that something that's important right now. Will you get to a place where you can have nothing days, truly just wake up, lay around, watch TV, go for a walk, fart around, sort of crazy casual? Absolutely. You will get to that point. But by and large, what you're going to need to do right now is set up your weekends or your days off to have some function and some purpose. Whether it's, having a friend meet you for lunch and you go for a walk after you meet up with that friend, to you go to the gym after that, perhaps you schedule an appointment with a massage therapist or chiropractor after that, make sure that someone's going to be with you for dinner. Take it seriously if you need that company. Sometimes it's important to understand that you're going to need it more than you're going to want it. And even though sometimes I get resentful and angry that I can't just sit around and do nothing on my days off, I have a healthy respect for where I'm at right now in my recovery and for what my needs are, and just the power of human connection and the power of being organized, not having truly idle time. You're going to find that idle time anyway, but it certainly helps maneuver it better when you have a plan. So that plan can be really elaborate or it can be really, really simple, but try not to leave yourself too much isolation time and too much time off doing nothing. And it doesn't have to be always focused around your depression. It can just be something important to you in general, or casual or silly, like you make an appointment to go lay in the park in the grass and get some sun exposure, whatever. I didn't really come up with any specifics, so I'm sort of just shooting from the hip like I tend to do, but without having to repeat myself literally 50 times, find some structure for your weekends. It will make a difference. Let the structure of your week transfer over, and perhaps just manipulate and tweak what you will be doing relative to your weekdays to your weekends. Weekdays for me, I work. I work. I mean, I go to the gym and I do a lot of things, but that's the primary part of my week. It's a working week, and on my days off, I try to schedule time to do other things other than sit here. That's all I'm trying to say. It's a powerful tip. I don't know if I worded it particularly eloquently, but I tried. And the message is there either way. So I hope that's of some use to you. Leave me some comments and suggestions on things that you guys like to do on your days off that you find are particularly helpful in either being distractive and or just help you cope with your depression and your anxiety. I'd love to read about them in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll do another video soon. Again, my name is Noah. Thank you for your time, and get busy and find some structure on your weekends. Do not sit there and rot in your own mind. It's not worth it. Things will get better, and you'll have those nothing days. You'll have those, almost had a nice outro. You'll have those nothing days again, but just be honest with yourself about where you're at right now. I still need structure, and I highly, highly, highly recommend having it to whatever capacity.